Can you guys hear me?
Okay. Marsha, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hey, we made it happen.
We made it. We made it.
I was wondering.
Yeah, you had to unmute your mic when you're coming in. So, yeah, I'm super excited. Guys, thank you for joining us. Excuse me for a second, something's in my eye. I am Dr. Carlene Randolph, and I am the CEO and founder of Women Ignite Now. I'm super, super excited to have you guys here to join us tonight with a special guest. Um, Actually, she's one of my board members for my organization and conference. Uh, Welcome, Marsha White.
I can hear you. Well, thanks for having me, Kai. You know, I'm always here for you.
So tonight is a really special show, and I had Marsha laughing earlier because this is her niche, so to speak. So let's talk about building and retaining a client relationship with networks. So I'm super excited to hear what you think about this, Marsha. How do we, as entrepreneurs, do that?
Well, the first thing is you have to be willing to get out there. So many of us hide behind social media, but here's the thing, social media can create so many introductions and so many opportunities for us. By the way, so that I can stream it out and we get greater reach, what channel are we on?
So we're actually on YouTube
Oh, we're on YouTube. Okay.
and Facebook. So
Okay.
if
Is
folks,
it on your page?
it's on the Women Ignite Now page. So the
Okay.
mhm.
I'm on the wrong page. Well, all right. So, there we are. Click. Okay. So as soon as I see it, I can share it. And so, this is not the time to be afraid. This is the time to have your elevator pitch, your 30-second, I hate to use the word spiel, but, have an idea of what you're going to say. And you should be confident in how you serve, who you serve, and why you serve. And so, but here's a really important tip. And it's funny. I used to teach networking, and one of the things that I want everybody to be really, really clear on is a live in-person networking event is not a card party. It's not a card party. Let me explain for those who may be trying to figure out what does she mean by that.
I love this.
You're not going to deal all all of your business cards. I don't know how many of you have experienced, but it drives me up the wall when somebody barges in on a conversation, says, "Hi, I just wanted to introduce myself. Here's what I do. Here's my card. Let's connect." That card is not going to get any attention, okay? Because you haven't even given a thought to approaching that person and finding out about them. Make it about them. They'll give you the opportunity to make it about you. So, make sure you're prepared, but go there. Here's something, Kai, that a lot of people miss. The other part of the go there, go not expecting it to be a card party is go with the intention based on the projected size of the crowd. Go there with the intention of having a great conversation or connection with no more than 3 to 5 people. And I know people are like, what?
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Okay. Here's the thing. Most people stay at a networking event an hour, if the drinks are right, and, if the kids aren't calling on your cell and the food is good, they may stay maybe 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So when you consider the average person only has, a short window to kind of circulate in the room, if you can take up 3 or 4 minutes per side, your 3 or 4 minutes and their 3 or 4 minutes, and you really approach it from, hi, what is it that you do? Why do you do it? What's the best part of what you do? How long have you been making it about them? There's an opportunity for you to really connect on a much deeper level, and they'll be much more inclined not only to ask you back, in terms of return questions, but you can say, hey, by the way, are you on social media? I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn first. What other platforms are you on? Do you mind if I send you a connection? And I'd love to continue this conversation. If you're open for a coffee or for, a Zoom chat or whatever, we can make that happen. Is that okay? Give them the opportunity to give you permission. The power of permission is phenomenal in networking. All right. And by the time you circulate and greet the old friends that get your, libation refreshed or nibble on something and see who the next person you want to talk to is, you'll be surprised how fast an hour or 90 minutes goes by.
So you're telling me when I walk into the room to have a strategy.
Have a strategy. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that way, your card doesn't go into the pile of, okay, I'm going to get to those soon. And then it's 3 months later and they've never contacted you. That's the other thing. Commit to nurturing those relationships. Follow up. We talk about the fortune being in the follow up, but many of us don't have the fortunes we want because we don't follow up. And there's so many ways to follow up. It's so easy, but we don't do it. So if you get a few, it's manageable. And then you can make it happen.
I forgot to tell everybody out there today, Happy Entrepreneurs Day.
Yes, absolutely.
So I want to thank everybody who's joining us. There are a couple of people on the line. And I want to make sure that they are super excited about this topic that we're talking about, building and retaining the client relationship. And it's almost like you're building a person, so to speak, right? You got to have the bones in place, right, to frame it all up. And so tell me a little bit more about building the client relationship.
The client relationship is a little bit different from the networking. The client relationship is, first of all, you have to be clear on who it is you serve, okay? Because people don't want to waste your time and people don't want their time wasted. But when a person trusts you enough to invest. And when I say invest, I mean not just their money, but their time
Mhm.
and their energy and their focus. You need to honor that in ways that too few other brands or businesses do. And what do I mean by that? Oh, well, first of all, acknowledge the fact that any brand, I don't care if it's Coca-Cola and or Google or Microsoft or, a mom and pop or just a solopreneur newly started, every brand has a person or people behind it.
Mhm.
And so when you think about the humanity of the brand or the brand ambassador, the brand representative, there are ways for you to reach out and really make yourself valuable and invaluable,
Oh my goodness.
to them. So um, that's something to really keep in mind. And the other thing is, I have a little a sassiness, if you will. So I'm going to say, like I did when I was, young and cute and probably about 400 pounds lighter. Whatever it takes to get that client, it's just like dating. It should be what you continue to do to keep them. Because competition, I call them industry colleagues, but a lot of people refer to them as competition. They're watching and waiting
Oh,
for you to
absolutely.
slip up, and don't give them the opportunity to have that little wiggle room. So, building the client relationship, nurturing it, it takes a commitment. But there's so many ways you can have like a little intake card, where you write down specific things when you're in conversation
Yeah,
because they're a person.
that's right. That's right. You
Um,
know, the
Go
other
ahead.
thing I was thinking about is that you got to focus on having an exceptional communication line between you and that individual.
Yes.
Um, and so, you're focusing so much. You also want to maintain a positive attitude because not every relationship that we're encroaching on is going to be the best relationship.
Yeah. There's some clients you may thought, Lord, what was I thinking?
Yes, yes,
But,
yes.
but even then, just again, to use the dating analogy,
Mhm.
let them down easy. You know what I mean? You can say, and they may feel it too, but are searching for a way to extricate themselves,
Yes.
decently. You can say, can we talk about where you see this going? Put the onus on them and let them see, because sometimes the miscommunication can be cleared up and you can say, oh, I'm not really seeing me as a business or a brand going in that direction. And I want to
Mm.
be able to serve you to the best that I can. And maybe I've taken you far enough.
Mhm. Mhm.
But if they're just not clear, sometimes they will give you feedback that says, oh, that's an avenue I hadn't thought about.
Mm.
And you can steer your business in a way that will serve them because, sometimes we just aren't clear, like you said, in communication. Look, marriages or romances,
Yes.
parental relationships, friendships. Sometimes you're like, what? Can you flesh that out for me? Your clients are still people. And so if you keep that commitment, honor it, act on it for active communication, I'm telling you, feedback will give you your next product, your next service. Um, it,
Feedback is a gift.
it is. And so many people are afraid of it. I really don't get it. I really don't get it.
I know that sometimes I end up having to tell my clients that, look, you you found the client, you brought them into your world, and don't forget that you have to maintain that relationship. And so a lot of people are really unsure about how to do that. And so the first steps I usually tell them is to, make sure you make it very easy for your client to communicate with you. Because some folks feel like, oh, they got my sale and now I'm not important to them anymore. But they continue to be your client.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the onus as the one who is providing the service or the goods. I think the onus is on us because these people trusted us to invest.
Mhm.
And so we have to make more, I think, of an effort to show them what is expected. People will treat you the way that you allow yourself to be treated.
Absolutely.
And if you let your client know, you are, to quote, what is it? The help you is kind, you is smart, you
Yes.
is important. And we're laughing, and there's good to be human. And here's the thing: have some fun in your business.
Mhm.
Oh my
Mhm.
goodness, so many times we get caught up, Kai, in being the very best and being just a certain way based on whoever it is that we're emulating or modeling. But get in your own flow. Know
Yes.
your stuff, but
Yes.
get in your own flow because that's what attracted people to you.
Mhm.
So let
Mhm.
that shine through.
And don't be an email address.
And what?
Don't be an email address.
Oh,
Allow folks to contact you directly, right?
yes, yes,
I find that a lot of business owners lose out because they only want to take the information via a voice message or an email. And you have to have that client contact, whether or not it's good or bad.
yes, yes. Um, for those unfamiliar with Tony Shea, and his name is spelled, I mean, his name is not spelled Shea at all. He is, just Google him, just Google
Mhm.
president of Zappos, okay?
Okay.
He it's spelled like Hsieh or something, but it's pronounced Shea.
Okay.
But he has an entire department committed to customer happiness. And they are allowed to stay on the phone as long as it takes to get that issue resolved. But he is not above getting on a call from time to time. Now, he's a CEO of a global brand, all right? Never be so far removed that you forget uh, where you started. I loved that show. It's no longer, I'm not a big TV watcher, but years ago, I used to watch something called Undercover Millionaire or Secret Millionaire.
Mhm. Mhm.
And they would take the CEOs of a company and they would go undercover, like disguise.
Oh, undercover boss.
Undercover boss. Okay, that's what it was. Thank you. See, it's been a minute since I watched television. But it gave them real insight into both the employees and the customers. All
Mm.
right. Because here's the thing, for those of you who have a team, and I don't care if it's one remote VA in another country or another time zone,
Mhm.
or if you have a huge staff, each of those are people who have specific needs, and you need to address those and be sensitive to those because they are your brand ambassadors. They are your first line of defense. They are customer facing,
Mhm.
and they are can be responsible for making or breaking your brand.
So I like that because you're asking the business owners to absolutely take responsibility for making mistakes, own up to them, and find a way to find a win-win for you and the client.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
There
most
is
people think that they have to allow that client to win 100%. And that's not what it's about. It's
no.
finding a win-win for you and that client.
When people call, text, email, whatever it is, or put something on Facebook, there should be in someone's duty or duties, watching, listening for disgruntled or dissatisfied customers so that those can be addressed quickly, because a lot of times you are judged as a brand
Yes.
on how quickly you address the situation. And sometimes people just want to feel heard. You
Mhm.
know, um, that's important because here's the thing, it's not just about losing that customer, but it's all the people that they know, and you as well as I and all the listeners and viewers know everything is real time now. It's
Mhm.
not when you get back to the station. It's not when you can get in the phone, get in the car to get your phone and call. Everybody is, recording real time.
Yes.
And it only takes, one or two to potentially tarnish your brand. So um, don't be afraid. There's a restaurant here in the city where I live in, and I live in the southeast area of the United States. There's a chain. It's a local chain, but it's a really nice restaurant.
Hmm.
The owner's cell phone number is on the bottom of the menu. He is so
Wow.
committed. He said, "Yeah, I know that's like extreme, but even if you're not there, you can take a few steps backward." He says, "If there is a major problem, I want you to tell me, and I'll address it."
Mm.
He's that committed to his brand. Now, am I suggesting that everybody do that? No. But what I am saying is you need to know what is going on in your business, because here's what I learned um, from a high-ranking government official when there was a big stink several years ago. He said, "It is not my fault because I'm not in charge of that department. But as president, it is absolutely my responsibility."
Mm.
And if more business owners would be proactive like that in their stance, it's not your fault. You can't see everybody every day, not every employee and not every customer.
I
But
get
if
it.
you understand that it is your responsibility to
So,
make sure that that goes well, it
so
can
I'm
it can
going
be
to
a good
say
situation.
something about that, right? Because as a business owner, I know it's my job to set expectations and deliver,
Hmm.
right? And so I think sometimes folks, business owners, absolutely fall into a trap, right? Because they haven't explicitly stated what their expectations are of the client, and they've not heard what the client's expectations are. So on both sides, the delivery looks very, very different.
Yes.
How do we get
Yeah.
out of that?
Be really clear within yourself. And there's nothing wrong with putting that in the agreement.
Hmm.
Because here's the thing, you're talking to someone who never has had experience dealing with you. When people book a discovery call with me, there's a questionnaire you have to fill out so I can get an idea of if we are going to have a serious discussion or if it's going to be fairly short. And I don't mean to sound hard nosed about it,
Yeah.
but people pay me, um, or people invest with me,
Hmm.
sometimes quite handsomely. I do have some, just digital products. But here's the thing, I want them to know who I am, why I show up the way I do, and what they can expect from me. Excuse me. And I also want that same commitment, because if you're not serious, I don't want to waste your time and get you all turned out, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be sitting here resentful, because I'm going to tell you, it will come across. People aren't stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So set it out. I mean, here's the thing. You have to have languaging in your head and on paper that repels those you are not here to serve.
Hmm.
You're not here to serve everybody.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I know that some people, especially startups, like, but I just need clients. I just need money. All money ain't good money.
That's right. Right. And when you have a client, you almost literally have to train them. Partnership is a two-way street. And that's
Absolutely.
so very important for folks to remember that. Guys, please like and share this message out. And I don't want folks to miss out on the information that Marsha is giving tonight. It's some good information, good food for the soul.
Well, you asking some bomb.com questions too. I'm digging deep tonight, Kai.
So it's something we always say to our folks when we're mentoring and coaching. I know of a lot of business owners who come to me, and the one thing I'm always saying to them uh, in the undercurrents is embrace your expertise, right? The moment that appears to be shaky, your client takes a few steps back.
Hmm.
And so, how do we fix that? I mean, we know that, you know, even in the retaining of the clients, once they feel like you're not embracing your expertise, you failed them a little. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Um, Sometimes it comes with more probing. Now, I do coaching, and so my job, first of all, I set the expectation. I'm not here to tell you what to do.
Mm,
That's not the job of a coach.
that's
It's
right.
not just not my job. It's not the job of a coach. The coach is to prod and to challenge and to ask questions, kind of like the journey of Oz. And I'm not trying to make this so simple, and silly. But when they got to the wizard, what happened? Glenda had to step in and say, everything that you all have been looking for is inside you.
Part of you.
You
That's right.
just need somebody to bring it out. And so if there is a discrepancy or if there is a misunderstanding, then you need to ask some questions. A lot of times we set ourselves up as having to be, you know, sitting high and looking low
Yeah,
at
well,
our
that's right.
client. Well, first, let me tell you all, and I have the credentials to back this up because I'm a former pastor, okay? There ain't but one that sits high and looks low. So let's just take that off the table. Um, you should show up prepared. If you know you have a client meeting, a client session, if you've been asked to respond to a text message or an email, if you're a little harried and things don't come across right, take a minute and breathe. If there's a question on the table that you're not sure of, be honest with them. Kai, I was in professional sales for over 10 years before I started coaching.
Mhm.
And I used to say to clients who had, or prospective clients on a presentation, I don't know the answer to that. Is that the deal breaker? Because here's the thing. I may be, especially when I was just starting, I'm new, but the company and the results are not. Let me see. I mean, and I closed a lot of sales because of honesty.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are trying you to see if your integrity is where it should be.
We got a comment out in the audience. Roz says, "Can you post that coaching description, please?"
Uh, sure. As soon as we rewind the tape, but I think that some of us have to be clear because a lot of times clients, and this is serious, a lot of times clients are looking to us and we think we're supposed to tell people what to do.
Mhm.
That's setting an unrealistic expectation
Mhm.
for them and an unfair burden on us.
Mhm.
So there's nothing wrong with saying, tell me a little bit more about what you mean. Why are you challenging this? What is it about? Has something triggered this?
Mhm.
Let's put this in context. Sometimes people just word things wrong and it can shake your confidence because you've never dealt with it.
Sure, sure.
Other times there are real occasions when you say, and be honest, say, you know what? In all my years of doing this, I've
Mhm.
never had that, I've never had that ask of me. I've never run up against that or, whatever.
Mhm.
But you know what? Can we table that? I promise we will come back to it.
Mhm.
But in the meantime, let's finish out what we're doing right now to get you to where you need to be. And then with integrity, come back to it with a definitive answer.
Another comment from Roz. She says, "I'm new, but the company isn't."
And the results aren't. Absolutely.
Mhm. Mhm.
And here's the thing for new coaches, this is very important. The reason you went into coaching is because you have expertise, you have experience, you have knowledge, you've paid your dues, you've spent some time in the trenches, and the fourth grader is always looked up to by the second grader because you have been where they want to
Today.
go.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that makes you an expert. It is up to you to craft that in such a way that it can be appealing enough that people will invest with you time, money, and energy.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, another thing I wanted to say about being the expert is know when you can say no, right? And so let me give you a little bit of an example.
I'm gonna start
When you
rocking. Hold on.
can't deliver what, yeah, when you can't deliver what they need, or you need to push back when they are being unrealistic, right? Some business owners want, and that goes back to what I said earlier. you can't please them 100%, right? And so you need to be very clear and you need to be able to open that mouth and say, no, we cannot do that. And so I find that a lot of business owners lose out because they don't want to say no. And it goes back to every client is not your client.
Every client is not your client. Listen, let me say this. You can be the ripest, juiciest peach from the prized orchard in the county,
Mhm.
and it's going to be somebody that don't like peaches.
Yeah.
Deal with it, okay? I mean, it just is what it is. Your
Mhm.
personality, you're not here to serve everybody. Your personality is not going to jive with everybody. Your verbiage, your body language, whatever it is, but be realistic. Take a good long look at yourself and how you show up, why you show up. I was on a discovery call with a potential collaboration partner, and she was telling me why, after watching me for a year, she finally decided to reach out. People will test you. They have an idea of what you're capable of and what you're not. Sometimes people will ask you or push you to test you to
Mhm.
see if you're really walking the walk,
Mhm.
because a lot of us do this.
Yep. Yep.
Um, don't be afraid of tough questions. Good Lord, we're all flawed and frail.
Mhm.
Fraud and flailed, flawed and frail, and human.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
you know, again, I would ask the client. I could challenge clients sometime and say, I think I said it earlier. Tell me a little bit more about that. What is it that's really bothering you? Because oftentimes the question itself is not the question.
Right.
The question itself is not the question. There's something deeper. Just like a sales coach will tell you the objection is not the money. It's not the money. It's
Mhm.
never the money.
It's never the money.
It's never the money. But people see it and go, "Oh, I should start, backing down." No. When you go to, J.C. Penney or, wherever you shop, Nordstrom, they don't back down.
No.
But people want to know that you are confident, because confidence is
It works
contagious.
out. That's right. That's right.
Confidence is
So
contagious.
a lot of what we teach the women out there who are seeking consultation from when is be yourself, be as authentic as you can be, because you make the sale,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
And so, you know, a client is going to believe you are the right person if your swagger is really on top. And so people have a hard time with swagger in business. But I know 9 times out of 10, a client will buy if you have that sense of confidence about you when you come to them with that sale. Um, I'm going to point out something else because I got it in my notes. And guys, I know you can see me looking down. I'm looking at my notes to make sure we cover everything before we close this call. Don't just be all about the business.
No, no. It's a relationship. We started out talking about the relationship,
Mhm.
because here's the thing. People not only uh, keep stay with you. That's retention. My thing is retention, referrals, and revenue, but there's another R. In fact, there's a few more R's, but the other R I would add to that is relationship.
Mhm.
That's when you know that a client has really, really invested in you as the person and the brand. All
Yeah.
right. Because I remember a friend of mine, um, he was my husband's mentor in ministry.
Mhm.
And I thought he was a phenomenal preacher. Oh, I guess he's still living, so I guess he is a phenomenal preacher.
Yeah.
But he said, and it's applicable to business.
Mhm.
He said, people will forgive your inability to preach really good if you pastor them. Okay,
All
so
righty now.
trust. When I was in seminary, there's a B on my transcript because I refused to back down from my position I had a womanist instructor, and she said, excuse me, she said, Marcia, if you would change your position and that the story, the details are not important. And I said, no, that's who I am. I'm not going to change I'm not going to become who you want me to
Right.
be for a grade, because I can tell you this. If I'm in, and it was in a pastoral counseling class, which was my jam at the time.
Okay.
If I go to the ER because somebody got in a car accident, or if someone is having, God forbid, a heart attack, or there's been a death in the family, do you know I have never walked up on a parishioner's, on a parishioner situation and they asked me what was on my transcript? I'm just saying. So my point is, be real, be true to who you are, embrace your strengths, but also embrace your weaknesses, because you can work on them. You can work on your weaknesses.
Yeah.
Nobody has it all together. We're all learning. Listen, if you're the smartest one in the room, get out that room.
That's right. That's right. So a good client manager knows that uh, it is about delivering more than it is about just hanging on to a client. Any parting words, Marcia, about that?
Say that again so I can really fully craft this response, because there's a lot of stuff.
A good client manager also recognizes that delivering is more than just about hanging on to that client.
You have to know when it's time to refer out. You have to know when you have taken the client as far as he or she is able to go, and or as far as you're able to go. Because here's the thing, they will respect you and continue to refer to you for the integrity that you bring to the relationship. They may want to hang on to you, but you're saying to them, it's like your mechanic. I had a trusted mechanic who said, Marcia, it is time to buy a new car. You can't keep throwing money after bad. And I don't want anybody to say to a client, continuing to work with me is a bad investment. But just say, look, I think that it's time for you to spread your wings a little bit. If there's any parents listening, it's really okay to push them out the nest.
Yes.
All right. Because here's the thing, they might be your biggest cheerleader, your biggest referral source, because you have recognized your limitation as a human being. You don't always have to create the next level program. If it's something you can do, by all means do it. Right. Serve as well and completely as you can. But if you're really sincere about growing and scaling your business, you may have a relationship or develop a relationship with someone who can help them. I'll take like 15 seconds. When I was a caterer way back in the day, long ago in a land far away in another life, I had a very exclusive market. But what I did so as not to lose any business was I partnered with a caterer who loved large ticket parties, all right, hundreds of people. That was not my strength. I recognized that. So she and I referred back and forth, and we had a consistent business. The same can be applied to your coaching, to your consulting, whatever it is, because business, my jam is client experience, but I'm a business coach. Be smart about it. That's what it means, Kai, to have your client's best interest at heart. If you are managing the relationship and saying, doing what is best for them, it will come back to you, even if it means having to let them go for now. Because they'll tell people, Absolutely. She really cares. She's made a difference in my life. He's about what he says he's about. And the relationship will not suffer. I promise you, it will strengthen and come back to you over and over and over again. So Don't be afraid of that.
Yeah, I definitely see where that matters, right? And wow, you're talking about repeat business for years to come, right? You may not have been able to feed them at that moment, but if there's another need that they know that you can handle, they're going to come back. They're going to come back.
Absolutely. Our appetites change every day. Our needs change every day.
Mhm.
And they can bring my customer experience icon is the late great Walt Disney. And he said, whatever you do it well.
Mhm.
Do it so well, in fact, that people want to come back and see you do that again and
Again and
again. That's
again.
retention.
Mhm.
And they will bring others or tell others so that they too can see what you do so well. That's the referrals. And
Yes.
uh, that all is about relationships and revenue. And if
Mhm.
you master those, that's the ball game.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So I want to thank everybody out there who has chimed in, and you all are listening very intently. Look, do me a favor, like and share this message out to others who may need some business tips. I know a lot of females out there who are starting up or just at the crux of 6 years, definitely can pick up on building and retaining client relationships. It's so important to keep us in business. So ladies and gentlemen, WIN is here to inspire, educate, coach, and mentor entrepreneurs so that they can remain successful. Look, Marsha, thank you so very much. I really appreciate having you here with us this
Thank you.
evening.
Thank you. I had a good time. I hope it's helped someone.
I hope so too. Well, you guys, we are WIN, and we are going to win for a better life, better business, and better results. Have a great evening. Okay.